Hi, my name's Lauren Crossman-Nanoff, and you're watching another episode of the Clinton Area Chamber Exchange. We're here with Clinton Area Chamber member Steven Sosa from Summit Energy. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, Summit Energy, tell me a little bit about the company that you run.
All right, so the company that I work for, Summit Energy, our headquarters is out of Mansfield. We just bought a building recently, about a year ago in Mansfield. If you guys know anything about solar companies, most of them are renting out their spaces and not buying buildings. So we bought an entire building in Mansfield, so we're taking this very serious. We're not leaving New England anytime soon. The office I visit weekly is in Chelmsford, and we have opportunities and the options to grow out west towards Worcester in this area. So we're looking for a building in this area as well.
Awesome.
So as other companies are closing doors, we're actively looking for buildings.
Awesome. So solar energy is huge right now. It seems like everyone's curious about it or trying to get on board if they haven't already. What makes Summit Energy different from other solar companies that are out there?
So Summit Energy, we're very New England oriented. Like other companies, they try to expand and go countrywide. We have some competitors that are in this area, but they also stretch out throughout all the country. So Summit Energy is focused on New England, and we want to empower all the folks and all the families in this area. We also do commercial. So we're just trying to make the environment better. We're trying to save people as much money as possible. And we just have a goal of getting 20, 30, 40% of the state put solar on them. So
Yeah.
we're working to make that happen.
Awesome. So you've, got a lot of customers in the area and you collected feedback, and your feedback has been pretty good and well received, I think.
Yeah. I have a couple customers in Clinton. I have customers in Leominster. I stretch all the way out to Saugus if I have to. I just want to help out as many people as possible. But if you've gone in contact with any of my customers, they're very, very happy. If you just looked up Summit Energy right now on Google and reviews and stuff, our reviews are amazing. We teeter in between 4.8 and 5 almost every day. And a big difference between us and other companies is if you even look up other companies on Google, they might not even show up. The reviews might not be there. So it's definitely important that regardless who you go with solar, make sure you look up the reviews. If you can't find them, there's a reason for that.
That's awesome. That's really good to know. What about in regards to, I think the biggest question that people ask is, what about my roof? Can my roof support it? How do I know if my roof can support solar panels?
Yeah.
The age of it?
That's a great question. So after our initial conversation when we talked, we set up a site assessment right after to make sure that everything that we talked about is valid and we can move forward the way it is. During that site assessment, we check out your roof, we inspect it and make sure it's up to date. And if it's anything over 15, 20 years old, we most likely recommend switching it out. But the great thing about Summit lately is that we've been helping customers get a roof. So you might go in solar, we can lower your utility bill significantly, even wrap up a roof in that, and it's still cheaper than what your utility bills are right now.
What if you just got a roof?
If you just got a roof, that's the best opportunity to go solar because you're already ready. Roofs typically last 30 years, 25, 30 years. Panels around the same amount of time. So we can hook you up with a great, remarkable price if you already have a brand new roof. So anyone that's recently gotten a roof, I'd love to speak to you.
Another question that just came off the top of my head that people ask a lot. I have a real estate license. What do people do if they own solar and then they're selling their house, or if they have solar through Summit Energy?
Another great question. So when it comes to selling your home that already has solar on it, it's super simple. It's just a simple title transfer. Okay. It's just a signature, a conversation and a signature. I've also been in real estate for a couple of years, and I've sold a couple houses with solar on them, and it didn't even come across my desk. It was just taken care of in the background. So it's super simple. It actually brings up your home value up to 5%. And the way the electricity is going up, that number might be going up sometime soon. So having solar brings up the value of property, and it's super easy to sell if you already have solar.
Yeah, that's good to know if someone's looking to sell their house, say within 5 to 10 years, that they shouldn't hold back.
Yeah.
In terms of getting.
They should do it because it brings up the home value a lot, and while you're looking to sell, your utility bills will just be so much cheaper. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely. What about how do you say I wanted to, I would rent solar panels through you? Is that how it works?
So there's a couple options. There's ownership. That's what a lot of people like to do in Massachusetts. Everyone's about their ownership. Yeah. So there's cash option. It's like a So you can do a cash option or a loan option, and we have different programs for that. But what we've been doing recently is called a purchase power agreement. It's like a lease. We're going to be putting the panels on your home, put as many as we can to make up as much energy as you usually use, and then we will just lock you in at a rate that's significantly cheaper than wherever you are right now. So as the prices of everyone else's prices go up, like your neighbors and other people in town, you'll be locked in at a much lower rate.
What if you're on a fixed income?
Fixed income, that's a great opportunity to go solar. I have just sat with someone a couple weeks ago in Leominster. They actually just got a brand new roof 3 weeks ago, so I got to give them an amazing price. And they're an elderly couple. They're in their late 70s, and they passed the credit, so they got to go solar. And we got them locked in at a much, much lower rate, and it's predictable. If you were to call your utility company right now and ask them, hey, what's my price for next May? They're going to look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
But with going solar, you know exactly how much your bills are going to be every single month for the next 25 years. So anyone that's in a fixed income, you can plan out all your finances.
Yeah, that's good. How do you get started? What's the initial step if I've heard about your company or I've met you at one of our networking events or something like that?
Yeah, my job is super simple. What we do is we can take a copy of your utility bill. We add up how much you've been using in the past year, the past 12 months, and we'll create a system based on that production. And the way that you can get started, you can give me a call. My number is 978-320-9209, or visit my website, stevensolar.com. It goes right to my calendar and allows you to schedule a call with me. And we'll just get on the phone real quick. I'll just need a copy of your utility bill, and then we can plan out and schedule a set right after that.
Awesome. What are some specific conditions that need to be met outside the home for them to get started? Is there?
Yeah. So a big concern that a lot of people think is if they have too many trees around their property, which is a valid question. So what we do is before we even sit down, we'll do a shade report and make sure that your roof has enough sun hours to produce as much as we say it's going to. And if there are not too many trees, I've helped a customer take down 9 trees. So that's something that we can totally cover for you if you don't have 20, 30 trees. That's something we can definitely help you guys out with. So it's not something you should worry about. We can definitely help you out with that. Tree removal, getting a new roof if needed, and we can even put things in your yard if you don't want to put it on your roof. And we can put it on a barn or a garage. So that helps too.
So how exactly does the solar panel technology work?
Well, so it's not too complicated. The sun produces, it's from the sunlight. It's all UV rays. So the sun hits your roof, the panels warm up, and they produce a little bit of energy, and that gets then put through the house. As you're using your energy throughout the house, the solar will take care of that. If you ever end up using more than what they can produce, that's when you start pulling from the panel. But most likely, you'll produce more, and that energy then goes through your meter outside your house, and it'll literally spin backwards, and then it goes out into the grid. So next month, when your utility bill comes by, your utility company comes by, they'll read the meter, and it could be less than it was the month before, giving you credits. So you can store up those credits for the future. It's like a bank. It's like, remember rollover minutes with cell phones? If you didn't use up all your minutes, you can use them next month. That's exactly how the credits work for utility bills.
So basically, you might not see a bill to your utility company until maybe February, January.
Yeah. That's a great observation. That's pretty much exactly it. Anyone that's getting their panels, once you have them in the summer, you're going to be producing so much. You're going to create so many credits that it should bank up enough for every night, and then extra for when it's shadier or winter months and things like that.
Right. So is that net metering?
Yes, that's called net metering. Yes.
Got it. What about the maintenance for solar panels? How would I keep up with that as a homeowner? Do I need to?
Yeah, virtually there is no maintenance when it comes to solar panels. You can monitor them throughout your day, and we monitor them too. There's an app you can look at and you can monitor your panels. But even in the winter, when the snow goes on them, they do get a little hot. So because they're black and they absorb heat, and the snow will melt right off.
Yeah.
And the only other thing throughout the year is pollen, and it rains every couple of days in Massachusetts, so it just comes right off. There's no reason to go up there or touch them or anything like that.
Right. Are there different types of solar panel systems or?
Yeah. So we are currently working with the company REC. They're the #1 solar panel producer in America, and we're in the top 50 installers for them as well. So it's the latest, greatest technology. Even 2 years ago, the panels were significantly less powerful. So if you just keep up with the latest technology, you could produce even more with using less panels. Let's say 10 years ago, they were around 200 to 300 watts per panel. Now we're all the way up to 420. So,
Yeah. So you had mentioned before your positive reviews, and I've seen them on the website, on Google. Do you have any specific success stories recently?
I mean, yeah, just in Clinton, I had a family. I'm not gonna say where they are, but they sat with me. It took maybe 2 sits with them to figure out exactly what they wanted to do. But the biggest concern was, hey, should we do the roof now or should we do the roof with you guys? And we ended up giving them a great price, and they were able to get a roof with us. And it took about 100 days from the beginning to the end to get a brand new roof, panels put on your house, them turned on, and you can see savings pretty much from day one.
Are there any warranties or guarantees that are?
Yep. We have great warranties. That's definitely something everyone should look at if you're going to sit with any solar companies, to make sure that their warranties are great. We have a 30-year warranty, extended warranty. So if anything happens from now in 30 years, we have you covered. If they ever drop anywhere under 92% efficiency, we'll replace them. So there's virtually nothing to worry about. If there's anything that happens, just give us a call.
Nice. What are any potential challenges or limitations that people might have besides their roof is probably the number one?
Yeah, roof is definitely number one. And number two would be just qualifying you. You have to have a certain amount of, you have to have decent credit to be able to move forward with that. And that's why not everyone can do it. And another thing is that if too many people in your neighborhood have solar, the town or utility company can say no to you, because if every house in your neighborhood has a little power plant of energy, any extra leaves the house, goes through the grid, and goes through the transformers. If too many houses have solar, the transformer cannot handle it. So we're not the yes or no people. They can say no to us. So credit, not enough solar in your area, and then roof and trees.
Wow. What's the typical lifespan on solar panels?
Yeah, so our solar panels are dated to be 30 years, but as the newer technology is, and they're a lot tougher than they used to be, they're predicting that they can last up to 40 years as well. So definitely look into where your panels come from and who manufactures them.
So you've done a pretty good job explaining everything step by step of when you meet people, but step by step again, can you walk us a little bit through the process of day one, say I meet with you, and then do you come back for a site visit? Where do you go from there?
So you give me a call, we get together, we get the bill before we sit together. I'll come up with a strategy, design, and numbers for you. We'll sit together. It takes about an hour, just depending on how many questions you have. And we'll answer all those questions, make sure you like the design and the numbers. From then, we sign everything. Right as I leave your home, I call my office and we set up a site assessment, typically 2 or 3 days out. It takes about an hour. They make sure that everything in your house is up to date and it's the design that we went over is valid and we can actually do that. Right after that, it gets accepted. We sign that and we start pulling permits with the town. So that's something that you guys the homeowner doesn't have to worry about. That's something that we're going to take care of for you. Once we have permits, we can put you right on the calendar right after that. That typically takes another month, maybe less. We just hired a bunch of crews. So it was 100 days. Now it's shortening as we progress. And right after you get on the calendar, we do an inspection with the town. So depending where you are, that could delay it a little bit. But recently, town inspectors have been awesome. And we pass that, and then we turn them on.
Wow. So you could really have a quick turnaround.
Like I said, on average, it used to be 100 days, but now that we've hired enough crews, it's been shortening.
Yeah. Are there any advancements or trends in solar panel technology that you want to speak to?
Just like I mentioned before, just the REC panels that we're using are so much better than the panels that we had over a year ago. Just the greatest and latest technology. That's what you really want to pay attention to. So that's super important.
So we've talked a lot about the company in general and the process and products, but what made you want to get into solar?
So before this, I was in real estate for a couple of years, and I love the gig. I love doing that. It's helping people out, but it's a little emotional. If anyone knows about real estate, it's a big deal for families. Versus solar, I can help you out right away. I can show you savings right away. Within 2 or 3 months, you know that I helped you, and I know that I helped you. And over time, for the next couple of years, give me a call, tell me exactly how much you're saving. It just helps people out so much, and I like that I can save people a lot of money. So that's super important. utility prices are going up and down, up and down, up and down. So might as well find a way to lock in a price and stay there.
Mm-hmm. And you see so many solar companies, yard signs out there, vans out there, door knockers. How would you know who to go with? What would be your best advice?
Yeah, there are a lot of us out there. My biggest thing is that you should definitely just look up the reviews. Make sure they're on Google. Make sure they're on the Better Business Bureau. Read all the reviews. Read as many as you can. Read the 5 stars. Read the 1 stars, and just make sure that you're doing your due diligence and making sure that you're working with a good company. And sit with a couple of them. See what their vibe is. See how they are. If you like the salesperson, that's probably a good company.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. So that's it.
Good. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and also being a member of the Clinton Area Chamber. You've been really supportive and coming to all our events, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I like going to all our events. I love Clinton, so I want to help out as many people. I've been living here my entire life. I'm almost 30 years old. I've been in Clinton my entire life. I graduated here. I went to school here from preschool all the way to 12th grade. So if I can help out as many people in my community, that'd be the best thing I can do for you guys.
That's great. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Welcome back to the Clinton Area Exchange. I'm here with Megan McCaffrey. She was a VP of Communications at RCAP Solutions. So welcome, Meg.
Thank you very much.
And before we get started on your professional career endeavors, I'd like to thank you for jumping on board to be one of our board members on the Clinton Area Chamber.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
And you have a long-rooted history, not just in Clinton, but specifically with the Chamber.
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit of that and reminisce a little bit about the history?
Absolutely. So before I came to RCAP Solutions, I was the executive director of the Wachusett Chamber of Commerce, which is what's now the Clinton Chamber of Commerce. I worked there for 8 years, and it was an amazing experience being from Clinton, working at my hometown chamber. The connections and the friendships and just the work in the community, being involved with economic development, supporting the local businesses, the local nonprofits, and just all the work that the organization was involved in was so fulfilling and satisfying. I was so happy to be a part of it.
We were really, really happy and excited when we got you back because we know you have that passion and the knowledge already for it. So it's really important to have someone as experienced as you were jump into our board. And I know that, you're trying to get it back. And we always talk about the fun new ideas that we want to bring forth and where we're going from here. So it means a lot that we're going to do big things, I think. Here.
I think so. I think so. And I'm excited to be a part of the board. I was so thrilled and honored to have been invited. And I think the new team of board members and people that are actively involved, it's exciting to see. It really shows the importance of a chamber in a community when there wasn't one.
Right.
And it's exciting to see that it's growing so quickly and how many people are excited to get involved. And there's so many new businesses sprouting up. And it just shows that our small community is growing.
Yes.
And that there's so much exciting opportunity.
It is, yeah.
With
the town growing itself and getting on the map more for more tourism and people visiting businesses here. I think it kind of coincides perfectly with the effort that we're putting in and people that we're talking to. So it really did all kind of coordinate pretty well with the timing. So, All right. So now let's dive into it. So first, tell me a little bit about RCAP. How long have you been at RCAP Solutions?
Sure. So I have been at RCAP Solutions for 12 years. I'm the Vice President of Communications, as you mentioned. And so in my role, I support the organization in promoting our mission, in promoting our goals, and in promoting our programs, and making sure that the work that we do is available for the community to take advantage of, so that the people that we work to support, the communities that we work to support, are aware of our programs and services, and to make sure that our partners are appropriately promoted, and that the organization is promoted throughout the region.
Yeah, So where is it located?
So our headquarters is in Worcester,
Okay.
and we have a couple of different types of programs, but our housing program, we do housing and homelessness prevention programs throughout all of Worcester County. And then we have a environmental and community services program, which supports rural communities. And that is throughout the Northeast, from Maine all the way down to Pennsylvania. And we also cover the Caribbean. So that's Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow, that's a really outspread,
It is.
outspread, touching everywhere. So tell me a little bit about the programs and services. You have housing, you have environmental services. Let's start with housing specifically.
Sure. So we have a pretty robust housing and, as I mentioned, housing and homelessness prevention program, and we cover all of Worcester County. There's a couple of areas that we focus on. So we have a financial services division which supports people that need financial assistance, whether it's to stay in their current housing or like for first and last and utilities. That's called the RAFT program, which is Resources for Families in Transition. And that's available for both homeowners as well as people who are leasing.
Right.
We also have a voucher program where people can have access to a voucher which would help them find safe and affordable housing in central Massachusetts. And so we support renters as well as landlords in that program. And then our final sort of housing program is that we manage 11 properties throughout central Massachusetts. They are for the elderly as well as people with mobility impairment and families. And those are from all over central Massachusetts, so all the way from Athol down to the Blackstone Valley. And then I also did want to mention that we also have a education and training number of education and training programs and workshops for people, so that we provide first-time homebuyer classes.
Okay.
So that if you haven't purchased a house before, there's all kinds of information about your, we call it your home buying team. And so it's not only just your real estate team, but also the lawyers that are involved. And we provide information about why it's important to have your home, evaluated, that you're going to purchase. And right now the market is so tight,
Yeah.
and it's crazy that it's really important for people who have never purchased a home to really know all the ins and outs and what's available to them.
That's really
in their
good.
purchasing.
I didn't know that you offered that.
It's a great program.
Yeah.
It's an important program. And we also have financial literacy programs. So for people that need credit counseling or credit assistance, we have some programs for that as well. And then there's also a post home buyer or homeowner purchase program as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, because you buy a home and then you're like, well, what did I just get myself into?
Mm-hmm.
And where do I go from here?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's really important. It seems like every business I've talked to, I've had to touch upon how COVID had affected their business. So from 2020, is there any programs that, you've set up from there, or how has that changed a little bit?
So during COVID, we were incredibly busy because there were a lot of funds that were made available for emergency assistance. And so during COVID, we were involved in getting as much money out into the community as possible, not only for renters, but as well as home buyers, because so many people either were not able to work or lost wages. It was really, really important to the state and to us to make those funds available to keep people in their homes. If they didn't have the money because they weren't working, there was funds available to keep people in their homes. And so we had never had a mortgage assistance program before, so that was exciting to have programs for homeowners,
Right.
To help them pay for their mortgage, to help landlords pay for their mortgage if they're tenants were not able to pay their rent, we were able to provide tenant assistance. And then also landlords were reaching out to us to say, my tenant can't pay for their rent.
Right.
What resources are available?
Wow. I can't imagine how busy that you
And
were.
we worked with and supported and helped and counseled many thousands of families
Right.
throughout central Massachusetts and put millions of dollars out into the community just to support homeowners and keep people in their homes.
Wow. That's really, really, really great. Now let's talk about the work you do for community and environmental service.
Sure. So that's our other tract, and that's our Northeast tract. We are the Northeast affiliate of the RCAP program, which is Rural Community Assistance Partnership. And so we support small rural communities, underserved communities, and tribal communities with their primarily water and wastewater infrastructure programs. And so large communities and cities have large budgets to support their water and their wastewater and septic programs.
Right.
Smaller rural communities don't necessarily have those resources. And so we provide technical assistance to support small rural communities, to help them find funding for water and wastewater programs, to have that infrastructure. We don't actually put pipes in the ground. We're more of a technical assistance provider. So we might work with a community's board, or we might work with the water or wastewater operator. We assist with training. We assist with technical assistance. Like I said, we can help communities find funding if they find that they need to raise funds to provide infrastructure, to have pipe serviced or replaced or things like that. We also provide GIS services, so communities can actually have the knowledge of what's underground, to be able to find those pipes and be able to plot out like the hydrants and the pipes and everything that's underground. Because what we're finding is that in these small communities, all of that knowledge might be with like one person.
Yeah.
And as these people age out and retire, a lot of that knowledge goes away. And
Right.
so we try to assist these communities to help them with their asset management and to help them increase their capacity and to be able to have those services
System in place of
exactly.
Yeah. Especially just writing things down of what work was done, when, the dates, so they can go forward in the future, so they can attack problems before they become a problem. Really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as I mentioned, water operators and wastewater operators are, as they age out, there's not a lot of people that go to school to think, oh, I want to work in water or wastewater
Right.
and work in our community. And they don't realize that there really is, there are career opportunities there.
Yeah.
And for people who are interested in not only working for their community, but they might be interested in engineering or chemistry or math or science. And those are environmental jobs. They're important jobs. And people, I don't think they realize
Right.
how fulfilling and rewarding those careers can be to work in a community, and that it could be a lifelong career choice with lots of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. What about recycling advocacy in the Caribbean?
So in the Caribbean has a real issue with recycling and solid waste problems. First of all, they don't have the infrastructure that we do in the continental U.S., where we have trash removal and disposal and recycling programs. There's a real effort to educate people around proper waste disposal and proper recycling. And so what we had found is that it was not uncommon for people to just, if they didn't know how to dispose of large items, it's not uncommon to see tires, toilets, construction debris on beaches, in parks, just in places where you would think, when you think of the Caribbean, you think of these natural, beautiful beaches, and people don't have a place to dump their things that they need to get rid of. And when on top of it, there's environmental disasters like hurricanes, there's a lot of debris that comes from that when properties have damage and destruction. Where does that debris go?
Right.
And so they find that things are disposed of improperly. And so we have done beach cleanups and property cleanups. We help to educate communities in where to find safe drinking water. There's a number of emergency assistance programs that we've had in the Caribbean, especially after Hurricane Maria a few years ago. Our folks in the Caribbean and Puerto Rico were boots on the ground in some cases when these people were without electricity and power and water for not only weeks but months in some cases. Our team were in some cases the first people to come into a community and say, how can we help? And so we helped with providing generators to communities so that they could get their power up and running, to get their clean water generators up and running, to provide, the pumps and everything, and gasoline and batteries and everything else to these communities so that they could actually get their water systems up and running and have clean water again, because it was a huge issue in that area.
Gosh. What about going forward with the private well program?
So in our community environmental resources division, we also have a private well program where we will provide complimentary testing for people. Was that 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But continue.
Okay. So we provide free private well assessments and water testing to communities. And I did just want to mention briefly that we have a new coalition. It's called the Coalition for Safe Drinking Water. And it's a partnership with the Health Foundation of Central Mass and RCAP Solutions, where we have some draft legislation right now that could help with the 500,000 people in the state who have private wells. Mm-hmm. And what we're looking to do is to advocate for statewide regulations around testing of private wells, because right now there's no regulations about having your private well tested. Right. And so what happens is that people who are private well owners just assume that their water's clean, mm-hmm. and they might go many years or even decades without having their water tested, and it could be that there could be contaminants in their water, which could potentially make them really sick. And the elderly and the young are especially vulnerable to some really potentially hazardous and deadly consequences of having contaminated water.
It's extremely important. But how would you find all this information? Is everything listed on your website?
Everything is on our website. We have a brand new website.
Oh, great.
And our website is rcapsolutions.org. And so it's RCAPSOLUTIONS.org. And everything is available there.
Perfect. It's so far spread in all that you do and busy.
Thank you. We're incredibly busy.
But it's impactful.
It's impactful work. It's important work. And
yes.
I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Yes. Well, thank you. And I appreciate you joining. And the next time I'll see you will probably be at the annual meeting.
Excellent. I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Great. You're welcome. Thank you.